All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast, and for the third part of the show. Apologize. We're going to talk about a couple things with the Cowboys again, a team I've talked about a lot recently, but just a couple things to go over. So they exercised Micah Parsons' fifth-year option, so he remains with the team beyond 2024. The option is set to cost about $21 million, and it was reported by NFL Network's insider Ian Rappaport. Primarily was playing defensive end last season and has been highly productive for the Cowboys. 3 Pro Bowl selections in his first 3 years in the league. He's set to make more in 2025 than all non-quarterbacks from his draft class who end up playing on the option, except for Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase. He would have earned nearly $3 million more if he had been designated as a linebacker. The deadline to exercise options on first-rounders from 2021's draft is May 2nd, making this move a timely decision. He already has 40.5 sacks, 213 tackles, 8 passes, defense, 7 forced fumbles, and a defensive touchdown so far. And, yeah, so he's going to be another player that's going to need to get paid. I mean, I know that's all you've been hearing lately is just Cowboys on, particularly when it comes to signing their star players. And again, they got big decisions to make. You got Dak Prescott that needs to get paid, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons. So this at least just like the Cowboys doing this at least holds off on doing this, at least pushes back. I know Micah Parsons probably going to want a new deal soon, but this at least gives them some time with them picking up his fifth-year option. So again, it's tough because, Dak Prescott, his recent comments on he's open to the idea of getting paid elsewhere. And I know when I talked about what Jerry Jones has said, they want Dak Prescott. So we'll see how much they want him when his contract is now up. And it seems like he's most likely going to hit free agency. And if that's the case, he might end up going elsewhere. I mean, I said he might, out of the 3, he might be the odd man out. And I'm still going to stand by that. But I know that if he leaves, then there's going to be a massive cap hit that comes with that. So we'll see. And again, it's like, what is the alternative if he ends up leaving? Is it Trey Lance? Again, we'll have to see. But you got Prescott to worry about. CeeDee Lamb, we'll see if he ends up holding out. Because I know that's been speculated. I know he didn't attend voluntary workouts, but I don't think that's something that we should make a big deal about. But, yeah, signing Micah Parsons, or not signing Micah Parsons, but picking up his fifth-year option. Again, that at least, they at least have him beyond 2024. And again, he's a guy that they are definitely going to want to keep because he is the best defensive player on the team. And the other thing, too, is that I wanted to talk about as well is Ezekiel Elliott. So Zeke and the Cowboys, they met on Wednesday to discuss a potential return to the team, according to NFL Network insiders Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero. As of now, there's no deal in place, but negotiations are ongoing between the two parties. So it's possible that Zeke could be coming back. And Zeke spent the previous season with the Patriots. The Patriots did play Dallas, and Dallas, what was the score, like 38-3, I think it was. But with the Patriots, he led the team with 642 rushing yards, averaging 3.5 yards per carry, and scored 3 touchdowns. He also contributed to 51 receptions for 313 yards. And the Cowboys, they did make a move. Recently, they signed running back Royce Freeman. So right now you got Royce Freeman, Deuce Vaughn, and Rico Dowdle. Those are your 3 running backs that you have. And they could be bringing back Zeke. Which, again, does that move the needle? No, it doesn't. Because Zeke is not the same player that he once was. And honestly, I felt like when they signed Royce Freeman, I thought, well, then I think that kind of rules out anything with Zeke. And I know Dalvin Cook was another running back that I mentioned too on a previous show. Because Zeke and Dalvin Cook both have interest. But maybe that's not the case. Maybe Zeke does still end up returning. And again, they bring him back. It doesn't move the needle. Now, I think he can help them in terms of, getting those short yardage gains, like getting those first downs on, third and short, or, being put in at the goal line. I think that's where Zeke can help you out because he's still a big body. But at the same time, I mean, I don't think this move would be impactful, that impactful. Because again, you saw Zeke was declining. I mean, 2022, that was the Tony Pollard show. He really took a handle of that RB1 position, and it worked well with Zeke and Pollard. But then unfortunately Pollard gets hurt, and then Zeke leaves, and Pollard really wasn't as effective as he was, the previous season because I think of the injury that he suffered in the playoff game against the 49ers. And I'm not the only one that has said that. I do believe that. So, I mean, we'll see how Pollard is now with the Titans, but I think that had something to do with it. But, yeah, I mean, and again, if they bring in Zeke, does that mean, they're not going to address the position in the draft? Or are they just going to roll with what they got? I mean, I guess they might. And just, Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn. I mean, because they brought back Dowdle. Deuce Vaughn was a guy they drafted, so I guess that's what they're going to roll with is those guys, and then if they bring back Zeke. So I don't really know how I feel about that. Now, again, I think Dallas's offense is still going to be good next year because, we got to see what happens with CeeDee Lamb. Because if CeeDee Lamb's missing regular season games due to a holdout, well, that's a little bit of a problem. Because Brandon Cooks then, he slides in as your number one. And listen, Brandon Cooks is getting older. I like him better now as a number two. But now if CeeDee Lamb holds out and he's got to be your number one, well, I don't really like that for Dallas. But, again, I'm just throwing that out there. That doesn't mean that CeeDee Lamb is going to miss any time. It's just there's that possibility that he could hold out. But if he doesn't, you got CeeDee Lamb, you got Brandon Cooks, Jacob Ferguson. Again, the Cowboys for some reason just always have a good tight end. Whether it's him, whether it was Dalton Schultz, whether it was Jason Witten. Well, also Blake Jarwin. Blake Jarwin at least against the Giants, because against the Giants he would score a touchdown every single time he would face them. I mean, there was that one game he had 3 touchdowns, and that's why I was like, well, you know what? If Blake Jarwin's playing the Giants, you should pick him up and start him in fantasy because he always seems to do good against the Giants. But now he's no longer there. I don't know where he is now. I don't even think he's on a team. Now I'm curious. But yeah, but like I said, there was that one game he had 3 touchdowns against the Giants, and I'm like, who is this guy? But but yeah, they always seem to have a good tight end. Is he still with Dallas? Oh no, it says he's a former American football tight end. Okay, so yeah, so he's not on a team right now. But yeah, he owned the Giants for a little bit. But yeah, they just always seem to have a good tight end. And Jacob Ferguson now is that recent tight end that they have. So, and listen, they let go of Michael Gallup. So I'm curious to see where he ends up because he's still out there. Because now it seems like after the draft, that's when you're going to start seeing these remaining free agents get signed. So he might be one of those guys that does end up getting signed. I know I've been talking about Tyler Boyd for weeks. So we'll see if he eventually gets signed by a team. But, yeah, I mean, for the Cowboys, it's just... I don't know if I'm like... If they bring back Zeke and this is what you go in to next season with... I mean, again, if you decide to address the position through the draft, I mean, you're drafting a rookie running back. But you're probably not drafting him like you drafted Zeke. I mean, this is probably a running back. Again, from what I'm hearing, it's not that loaded of a draft class when it comes to the running backs. So it's not like you're gonna have Zeke where you're getting to, he's your first pick. These running backs you're probably gonna see get taken in the later rounds. Well, at least after round 1. I don't think we're gonna see a running back taken in the first round here. But who knows? But yeah, I mean, if this is what the Cowboys go with next year, yeah, I'm not really a big fan of it. Um, but I mean, again, I think their offense will still be good, but I think they're going to have some problems with running the football. And if you want to have that balanced attack, that's going to be an issue because now that's going to put more pressure on Dak Prescott and the receivers, to really just be throwing the ball a bunch of times. And that's really what this offense has become the last couple of years. Again, I thought 2022, with Pollard before the injury and Zeke and, Dak Prescott throwing the ball to CeeDee Lamb and the other playmakers on the team, like that worked well. But now, after Pollard got hurt, it wasn't the same. They really didn't run the football as well as, you would hope them to. And I don't think Zeke coming back is going to help that. Again, I think it'll help when it comes to, short yardage gains, but again, Zeke's best days are behind him. Prime Zeke is a thing of the past. So, but the Cowboys like him, and it seems like they want to bring him back. So, it might be inevitable that he does come back. So, but again, I don't think he's someone that's going to move the needle. And I don't think any Cowboy fans thinks that either. Well, I shouldn't say any, but I think most Cowboy fans would say, yeah, this is just another move that this is one of Jerry's guys that they got to bring back. So, yeah, it's not a needle mover, but I guess hey, they need more help at the running back position, and they figure let's bring back a familiar face that has been here before. So, I don't know, but like I said, not a needle mover, and I think most Cowboy fans know that. So, but let me know what you guys think about Zeke's potential return, Micah Parsons, his fifth-year option getting picked up. Let me know. Again, the Cowboys, all in off-season, there really hasn't been a lot that's gone on with them. Signed a running back. I want to make sure to mention that because all I've been saying is the linebacker and the long snapper. But signed Royce Freeman. The next move could be they bring back Zeke. So you got Eric Kendricks, signed him, signed Royce Freeman, and now you could be bringing back Zeke. So there you go. There's the Cowboys offseason so far. But again, you still got the draft, so we'll see what they do there. But yeah, it's just like when you have Jerry Jones say you're going all in, and then you have an offseason like what you had. But again, people are going to say, well, that's Jerry Jones for you. And I guess so, yeah. That's making headlines. But, it just, Cowboy fans were definitely expecting more out of this offseason, and they haven't gotten that. Now, again, this is coming from a Giant fan. But you also have to look at, well, the cap space was a problem, and you also have to, because I also did a segment on this too, the cap space, and on top of that, you got your three best players are looking to get new contracts. So, yeah, your hands are kind of tied right now. So, and they could still make trades, and there's still some free agents out there that they can maybe sign. Again, nothing that's going to, have Cowboy fans saying Super Bowl, even though that's what some of them will probably still be saying. But, there's still moves that they could make. So, let's see what they do in the draft, and then post-draft, there's more moves on the way. But maybe they sign Zeke before the draft starts. We'll find out. So, let me know what you guys think about these two things here regarding the Cowboys. So when we come back from our final break of the show, we're going to talk about the Steelers. We talked about Micah Parsons' fifth option being picked up. We're going to talk about Justin Fields' fifth-year option not being picked up by the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I'll give you my opinion on that when we come back from our final break of the show. So with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.